What's going on, Denver Broncos fans? It's your boy JP Football Fanatics back with you again with another video here of a record prediction video for the 2023-24 season. And for this time, this team is for the Denver Broncos. The Broncos, very much so, disappointed many fans last year in terms of signing Russell Wilson to that big, huge contract and Nathaniel Hackett becoming a bust of a head coach. And now with the hiring in the offseason from Sean Payton, not a very big draft class for this team from this season, and still having Russell Wilson on the roster. There's a lot of questions about the Broncos this year in terms of like how much more improved can Sean Payton bring this Denver Broncos team? Can he take them back to playoff bound? Can he take them back to being the dark horse and going into the Super Bowl and winning? Or are they going to fall flat on their faces yet again and they disappoint yet again? Let me know in the comments down below in terms of what you think about the Broncos this season. It's your boy JP Football Fanatics telling you to please go ahead, drop a like on this video if you have not done so already. And please be sure to leave a comment on telling me what you think about the Denver Broncos this season. And if you have not done so already, please hit that subscribe button as well that's underneath this video and hit the notification bell, because anytime that I post any new content, whether if it's pre-recorded or it's live, you guys will be the first ones to be able to determine on the content that you want to watch and want to be able to follow and what interests you the most. That's really what I really care about the most. I care about you guys. I care about the sport of football, and I want to be able to relate it to all of you. So please do all those things for me. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and this fan base here of JP Football Fanatics will continue to grow bigger and bigger, time in and time out. And without a further ado, let's get started with the schedule for the 2023-24 season for the Denver Broncos. As Russell Wilson says, Broncos country, let's ride. Here's the schedule for the Broncos, and we'll start off with week one. Again, they are a team that's very questionable. I have a lot of questions about this team. I'm not sure where they're going to be this year. I don't know if this is a team that I'm necessarily thinking that this is going to be like the team that's going to go in there and, really shock the league by surprise. But I think they're a team that probably will be competitive week in and week out, like they kind of were last year on defense, but the offense wasn't really very existent. I don't think there's a lot of things that really change that much on the offense, but let's take a look and see. Week one, you got to play the Las Vegas Raiders in Mile High, a team that swept you last year, a team that's pretty much owned you. And this is a Josh McDaniels revenge game yet again. And Josh McDaniels was the head coach for the Broncos before coming back to New England to be the offensive coordinator and play caller again. I think the Raiders continue to beat you. I think they beat you in week one. Even early in the season too. I mean, Colorado, Denver, tough place to play. But I think the Raiders have done a really nice job in terms of being able to, Las Vegas, excuse me. I think they've done a pretty good job of being able to figure you guys out and beat some of the schemes that you try to do and everything. And I think they're going to go in there. They'll win the week one. Week two, though, however, I think you're going to get the win against the Washington Commanders. Now, the Commanders are a team that can really go either way, but quarterback play is the biggest question mark. Who knows? This could be like an early season firing for Ron Rivera too, who probably won't be in Washington that much longer. But I think you guys can get that win at home in week two against the Washington Commanders. Week three, you play the Miami Dolphins in Miami. Miami's going to go in there, and I'm sorry, they're going to beat you guys though too. I think playing in Miami, especially this early time of the year, you're still in the month of September. That's tough to play Miami in Miami. Very hot down there. The heat is ridiculous. Just ask Tom Brady, who's had a lot of experience playing in Miami during the September months in his career. It's not easy to play down there. The heat is absolutely ridiculous. And there are some teams down that were playing in Miami early in the season last year and lost, even though they may have been better. But that heat really gets to you. And that's really the biggest advantage here for the Dolphins. Week four, you play the Chicago Bears. Another tough place to play, the Chicago Bears. I think the Bears actually beat you guys. I think the Bears are due for some wins this year. I think the Broncos are one of those teams that I think they can actually find a way to beat you guys. I mean, your defense is strong. I think you have a pretty good pass rush and a good secondary group. Your run defense can be improved. It could be better. And I think that's where the Bears are going to beat you. I don't think the Justin Fields is going to be being relied on to pass the ball that much. So I think, and playing in Chicago too, that's not an easy place to play. So I take you guys to lose that one in week 4 in Chicago. Then you go to week 5, you play the New York Jets. This game is going to be a slugfest yet again. It's not going to be an easy game whatsoever. It'll be tough. I think the Jets still come in and they beat you, especially in Mile High, because that's not an easy place to, obviously it's not an easy place to play. But that Jets defense is absolutely ridiculous this year. It's so good that it's going to be hard for Russell Wilson to come in there and be able to, beat you guys at home. So I have you guys losing to the Jets as well. Week 6, you play the Kansas City Chiefs. I have you guys splitting with the Chiefs this year. I think the Chiefs are going to beat you guys in week 6 on a Thursday night in Kansas City. And then I think the week after that, you should be able to beat them in week 8. Then you go to week 7 and you play the Green Bay Packers. And this is Jordan Love's Green Bay Packers. Now, this is an interesting game to me. And the reason why this is interesting is because this is the Broncos were a team that Aaron Rodgers originally wanted to go and play for. So that's kind of like this will be an interesting storyline to see now that neither team has Aaron Rodgers anymore. That'll be kind of fascinating to see the fight on who's like the better team, who Rodgers really should have gone to or stayed with. I think Green Bay could come in and beat them. I really do think Green Bay has the capability of being able to do so. But at the end of the day, it's Russell Wilson. It's the Broncos. There are some things that they do that are nice enough. So I think the Broncos can win that game. I think you guys can win that one in week 7. Then you're coming off the bye week here, and you're going to play the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo on Monday night. I think the Bills still beat you guys. The Bills, one of the favorites in the AFC, of course, might take a slight step back a little bit, but I don't think this defense is going to be ready to play Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. I'm sorry if that's just not happening. Week 11, this is an interesting game here. You're going to have Pat Surtain for the Broncos versus Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings. Now, this game will be very competitive. I think this is going to be kind of a slugfest in a way. I think you're going to be brewing with like the best corner for this team versus the best wide receiver in the National Football League. That's going to be a really, really good matchup to really see between the two of both the corner and the wide receiver. This game is being played in Mile High. If this game was being played in Minnesota, I probably would lean more towards Minnesota. But I think playing in Denver and you're playing in the month of November at this point in time, I think Denver can come in there and I think they could potentially beat you. I really do. I think, obviously it will not be a good game, but it won't be the greatest game on turf. But at the end of the day, Kirk Cousins is due for a couple of losses that he should beat. For some of these teams, and I think the Broncos are one of those teams that could come in there and they could beat you. Then you go to week 12 and you play the Cleveland Browns at home. The Browns are a team that could be better this year. They could be different. I don't know. But I think you guys could beat the Browns, especially at home. We need to see what Deshaun Watson is. We need to know if he is the guy for this team. We need to know if he's ready to come in there and play that like he says he's going to play. Then we got to go to you guys go to week 13 and you play the Houston Texans. I could definitely see this game 100%. I will say this right now. This game 100% can definitely be a slugfest yet again. It's the Denver Broncos and the Houston Texans. You got to play this game in Houston. But I'm going to go with the Broncos to win this one. It's not going to be a pretty game. It's just like how it was last year. The secondary for Houston played really well against the Broncos last year. And I think they can continue to do that. I think they can continue to give the Broncos a hard time to beat them. But I think at the end of the day, you take a look at Russell Wilson, you take a look at some of the wide receivers. They're not exactly the scariest wide receiver core, but one of them is bound to have a pretty big game in this one and can probably explode. So I'm going to go with the Broncos to win that one in week 13. Week 14, you go to play the Chargers. I think you're splitting with the Chargers this year, like I talked about when I did my Chargers prediction. I think the Chargers beat you in week 14 in Los Angeles, and then I think you guys can go in there and you beat them in Mile High in Week 17. The Chargers, they're a good team. They're a division rival, and it's a team that's like, obviously the Broncos have gone in there and split with them the last couple of years. I think that trend continues. So that's what I got to say on that. Week 15, you play the Detroit Lions in Detroit. I think Detroit really is probably going to beat you guys. I think it's going to be not so much of a shocker, in my honest opinion. I could potentially see, the Broncos coming in there and upsetting the Lions. I can see you guys doing that. But at the same time, the Lions are a good team. I think they're poised to win the NFC North this year. And I think if they can go in there and beat Denver and beat that really, really tough defense, I think the Lions will go in there into the postseason and make a run for a lot of teams' money. Then you go to Week 16, you play the New England Patriots at home. Another really intriguing matchup here. Both offensive coach and Sean Payton versus the defensive coach, minded coach in Bill Belichick. That will be really intriguing to see. It's definitely a matchup that we've seen a lot in recent years and in the past. But I think the Patriots, their defense, I think is still just a little bit stronger, probably more than a little bit. I think they're still better defensively. I think they have the better coaching staff, in my honest opinion, outside of Sean Payton for the Broncos. But, I think this defensive-minded coach of Bill Belichick, I think Bill Belichick can go in there, can really cook up with a really good game plan and let that defense rise to the challenge. So I think you guys are going to lose to New England at home. Then you go to the last game of the season, and you play the Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas. You're going to probably be pushing for a playoff run here. You're looking at 7-9 right now. You probably should really get a win here. You want to get a win. And you know what? You might as well get a win here. You might get that win and you finish your season 8-9. So obviously your team is going to be improved. It's going to be better this year. I think Sean Payton coming into the helm is going to be, really helping you out a lot. So that's something to look forward to. You may or may not make the playoffs with an 8-9 record. It's going to really depend on a few games, later on in the season that are going to really determine on whether or not, you guys make the playoffs. So I think you kind of just miss out. You may need another year to revamp and get better, but I think you're heading in the right direction for the future. So what do you guys think about the Broncos? Do you guys like them this year? Do you want them to do something? Do you think they're going to be improved? Do you think they're better than what the record I predicted for them to do? Let me know in the comments down below. It's your boy JP Football Fanatics telling you to please go ahead, drop a like on this video, and please, I'm begging you, please go ahead and leave a comment down below because I want to know what you guys think about my videos. I want you guys to go in there and really tell me what are some things you want me to do better. What are some good NFL content you want me to cover moving forward? But I cannot do that unless I try to build a bigger and better fan base. So please do that. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell because every time that I post new content on here, it's going to be really good stuff. And I'm trying to get better and better at this. I want to work on getting new equipment in the future, work on better in terms of doing graphics and so on and so forth. I want this channel to grow. I want it to be better. And I need your guys' help. So please do all the things that I ask you. This channel will grow to be bigger and better than what it is already. So it's your boy JP Football Fanatic saying thank you so much for watching. We'll see you all next time. Peace.